All right, so we are back, and let us jump into this a little bit. A couple of things to do first, and to just mention really quickly. So, I was gonna record yesterday, me going into the Tower of Chaos. I did auto battle all the way up to floor 110, which was actually pretty interesting, but it was. I kind of ran into a little bit of a snag at 120 again, and it was just a weird combination of stuff happening. So if we go back and look at that last video on the Tower of Chaos, I easily walked in there and just swapped out my Victoria for defense down. And for whatever reason, this time on this run, my Victoria was basically being targeted by the first waves pretty heavily, and so she was dying over and over again, and that was actually a little frustrating to me. But what I ended up doing, and this is what I wanted to show here, was talk about my team. So if you're on floor 120 for the Tower of Chaos, you can pretty much go and look at my video a couple weeks ago. I'll link it down in the description. But what I was using was my light Hanahime in the leader slot. So I use her in the leader to get discernment. So right here, variant skills, discernment, to get their resistance down. And this just helps you put your debuffs out there, okay? And then I use her. She's there for my healing and for the shield. The shield is so good. It's awesome. So discernment in the leadership spot. Followed by running Pegasus, so a light Pegasus. Now this has been, people have commented and things like that. You could use light Yuki, light. There are a bunch of light Astromon that have shock. There's a bunch of Astromon that have this ability that you can use, but I was using this for shock because pretty much it's almost guaranteed to get shock off on the Astromons, as long as they don't get sealed. So I'm using him to shock Gilgamesh when we get up there. But what I had to transition, and again, I've talked about it with Victoria here, that I use her for the defense down at that point, and that's why I had used her before. But like I said, she wasn't living. Now, I could have swapped her out. I could have made her work in that aspect of, I could have just swapped this out for some more HP percent, and just made sure she could take a hit. That's definitely a viable strat, but I wanted to test out an Astromon that I had before. And it took 2 tries, but eventually I got it down, and that's using Dark Shelly here. So Dark Shelly has a 100% chance to reduce the enemy's defense, and then also Dark Predator, excuse me, increase the attack power against Dark Astromon. But I wanted to use him specifically for the 100% chance to reduce the defense. And as you guys can see, I just said screw his attack power. It's nothing but HP. I did use 1 HP, or excuse me, attack percent Gem of Bastion here. And the reason why I'm using the Gem of Bastion is to put a shield up on him for 15,000 so he lives. And then we have nothing but HP percent and HP percent to fill the void here because I wanted this Astromon to live. The only thing I wanted was him to be able to put defense down. I was not concerned about him being an attacker. And the reason is because Persephone was my other Astromon. As usual, she is my hardest hitter now. She has enough health to live, and so she's going to do enough damage through everything to be able to take down Gilgamesh in that last bit. She's also got the firepower to take out wave after wave, the first 2 waves getting up to the boss. So, but that was the team I ended up using for that. So, again, apologies, but the video was, I don't know what happened when I recorded it. It didn't get out. So, but I did want to talk about the team I did use for the last floor in there, just so you guys could kind of hear my what my mindset was with it. So, but back onto the dailies. So again, been out there farming. We're about halfway done now on here. We got 2 hours until this one finishes to keep going. And let's get out there. We have Vitra again. Definitely get out there. Get your Vitra attempts in. Get your ranking and whatnot. get your free goodies out of there as well. That is also going back to, talking about the Tower of Chaos. That's also where you're gonna get these Bastion gems. So get those, using those on there. Was actually, I'm not gonna say was too crucial. Again, the 15,000 barrier does last for two rounds usually, unless all four of something comes up and attacks. But in this case, it definitely worked out with keeping Shelly alive. Again, I went through 2 attempts with it because, unfortunately, I didn't focus down the other 2 Astromon that are with Gilgamesh on floor 120. And so my next time I went through, I ended up focus firing a little bit of them down and then worrying about Gilgamesh, stunning him every round, etc., etc. The second attempt, too, was a lot easier because Persephone had her super evolution, or her fully evolved bars up, so she hit extremely hard, and I took Gilgamesh out at 50%. So, again, you want to talk about a good wombo combo. Shock and then defense down just lets you eat away at their health. So, that's, again, why I go for a defense strat and a lot of the stuff that you guys see. A lot of it is, glass cannon builds, but at the same time, that's why I put a lot of weight on the defense down that you see, for instance, Victoria in my party all the time. And it is just because, again, being able to shred the HP of whether it's your opponent in PvP or the boss in this case, it's what makes these glass cannon builds work so well, is you having the ability to do that. And again, though, that's something to kind of point out too. If you're struggling on something, and you're banging your head against it, sometimes you need a strategy change. Sometimes you do need to kind of theory craft a little bit with your own Astromon and what you have, and things like that to be able to, again, go in there and actually get it done. Sometimes just doing a glass cannon build's not going to be enough. You need to have the strategy and the, what do I want to say there? I don't want to say perseverance, but have the perseverance. So sometimes maybe a tank team that can just debuff and continue and slowly deal out the damage without having to deal with a heal. Things like that is kind of what I'm getting at. Is maybe that's the better play than just trying to brute force it. Like I said, with a team specifically put out with just straight up doing damage. I didn't click off fast enough. I do want to double check one thing though. That's not what I wanted, but that's fine. Yeah, I always had the volume down a little bit lower. All right. Oh, and Slime's going to be stubborn today. But yeah, just keep that in mind. And also, remember, especially if you're newer to the game, you're not always going to have, you might not have the depth to be able to change or transition into there. And that's again, something Monster Super League, I think, could, and I talk about this all the time. I think that's the time aspect of this game that I think they need to focus on, is letting people actually kind of catch up a little bit quicker on certain aspects of the game to let you build those teams to start doing content a little bit sooner than normal. But yeah. So let's see here. Who do we want to mess with? This one's an interesting one. Let's just go here. Not gonna make it easy for me, huh? Well, I beg to differ a little bit. So we're gonna go out with stun, hopefully on there. Well, she resisted, so focus firing Dark Valkyrie here for the reason of silence. The stun and the silence that she has, it's guaranteed. Fire Gene is kind of inconsequential. Mona is gonna hurt a little bit, but I'm not necessarily worried about it. It's between kind of focusing these. I forget what Fire Sea Star does, but this isn't even super evolved, so I'm not scared necessarily with it. I think she has attack down. I don't see her too often. And I don't want to have something come out. She's going to have this. Let's just roll the dice. Yikes. Well, let's see what happens. Wow, look at all that focus fire on my poor Yuki. Well, let's defense down. Nice. And that's GG. Now, Fire Jean is a HP aggressor, so she's going to have the most health. But again, unfortunately, HP aggression doesn't really matter, especially when we have a Water Astromon here too. So there we go. And also to cap off what my thought on that a little bit too, as the game has changed and more Astromon come out with better statistics, better everything. That's where something needs to be put in place to kind of, I think, again, catch people up. That's just my opinion. But with that said, we are done with the daily, and so made it all the way to the end. I appreciate you guys. Again, I didn't expect to have 100 subscribers on this channel, let alone have 100 subscribers at the end of the year on something like this. So I don't know if I will do any type of a video. It's again, I don't have really too much else to show you guys. You guys know a lot of what I have on the account and things like that. But regardless, I do appreciate every one of you that, watches, that likes. And again, the guys that you come out here and comment and, start conversations, I appreciate all you guys as well. So, and again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in tomorrow's dailies.